Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another week of TGP2, where it's the third week of the season, rounds 5 and 6, and you join us just as Kamababa goes on to pole. We've got two races tonight, of course, as usual. Two fantastic circuits, Canada and then Monaco will follow as we look to see if anybody can challenge Wet Lemons in this championship. He's got a pretty dominant lead at the moment. He's won the first three of the first four races of the season. Can he be stopped? At the minute, he's only in 8th place in this qualifying session, but we'll see if he improves on that in 3 minutes, 50 seconds to go. As I say hello to the co-commentator tonight, Roy Scorer. Hello, Roy.
Good evening, Daniel. Yeah, looking forward to tonight's races. Two very difficult tracks to execute. Surrounded by walls. Track limits also play a key factor around both events, and yeah, it should be a very interesting night.
Yeah, two street circuits, so always adds a little bit of drama and risk, of course. As just watching Blair Grills here, it says he's gone purple in the middle sector. Oh, he gets a big slide at the exit of the hairpin. That will have cost him some time, but I mean, this is a lap really, Roy, isn't it, where it's all make or break at the final chicane. You can gain so much time if you take it perfectly, but it's also very easy to cut. He has not cut it though, Blair Girls, and I think he will have lost time at hairpin, but will he still improve? Oh, well, he's only improved marginally. He actually lost 2/10 in the final sector, and I imagine that was all at that hairpin. So a bit of a shame there for Blair Girls. He could have improved maybe to possibly a top 5 spot. But 2.5 minutes to go. We'll see if he gets another run in.
Half a tenth improvement, probably could have been about 7/100ths of an improvement had he stayed to the right for the shortest route to the line. But that's something I tend to point out quite a bit. You may have noticed, but yeah, as Theo Hickman invalidates his latest effort at turn 6. Of course, a dramatic corner, certainly in 2011, with the whole Sebastian Vettel, Jenson Button moment. Don't know why I brought that up, but being a Vettel fan, but hey-ho. It's certainly an action zone, let's say. And Blair Grills, is he on another lap? No, he's not.
I don't think he is. I think we got indecisive.
Oh, he is.
About to set a lap right now. Where's Blair Grills on the track? Oh, he is, yeah, he's about to cross the line. And he goes up into 4th place. And he was obviously listening to the commentary because he took the shorter line that time, didn't he?
Yeah, I think he did. Did he not?
He didn't. Oh. I don't think he did, actually. I don't know. I only caught the very tail end of it.
We've got Jacko on a lap.
Yeah, Jacko's just crossed the line now to start a lap, I assume, because he was backing off going slow on the last time around. So we'll see what he can do. He's going to, I tell you what, I think he's going to have a bit of traffic though, you know, from drivers on the outlaps. To both of the Alpines, I think he's catching up to. And there's a Williams maybe. Oh, there's indecisive inside, just clogs the wall there, but gets out the way, does he? No, okay, no, he doesn't get out the way until the very last moment. He's got a bit of a toe, I suppose, Jacko. He takes that chicane nicely, but not the exit, and hits the wall, and he is out of the session. He's in 2nd place, but he may not stay there. We've got Hickman coming up there right now. He's coming through the exact same part of the racetrack. Now, will he get distracted by Jacko's car? Well, I think he's lagging slightly on my screen, that was Hickman, but he did seem to avoid it anyway, but he's 2.5 tenths down at the moment, so I don't think he's going to improve.
No, but he is getting a tow from the McLaren ahead of Angel versus Death. I don't think it's really going to help. The tow is not as effective on the game as it is in real life, but Theo, I think, is better off to just abandon this lap.
Which is exactly what he's doing. So let's see then what other drivers can do. Wheelnut is also coming into the pit lane, so I think possibly Wet Lemons is Kamababa about to cross the line.
He's not, no apologies, but he's on a lap, but Wet Lemons
is on a lap,
much further around the lap.
Yeah, he's coming down the back straight now, and it's all going to be about nailing this final chicane. He's down in 9th place, the championship leader. He doesn't corner cut, so good run to the line, and there we go. Look, he's taking that shortest run, and he goes into 3rd place, so it's not pole, but it's not even a front row. but I think he will happily accept that third place for the time being. See if anybody else can improve.
Chris
Owen's
Johnson.
slowing down. Chris Johnson, is he going to improve? Is Camo Babo going to improve? He's already on pole, but he might be able to improve even further. I think we've got Chris Johnson across the line first. We know his qualifying form isn't always terrific, but that was a good run through the final chicane, and we'll see if he can get at least... Oh, he does improve his time, and improves his time by quite a bit, but it's not enough to improve position, and Camo Babo retired because he knows he's got the pole position run.
Yeah, so fantastic lap from Camo Babo. Last season's pole time was a 109.7, so Wet Lemons has actually matched his pace from last season, but we seem to have a slightly quicker field this season, with people finding improvements. So Camo Babo then takes a brilliant pole position from Jacko, who crashed at the end of the session, so who knows, maybe it could have been Jacko on pole position had he strung it all together, but at the end of the day, he didn't. So Wet Lemons is in P3, one of his worst qualifying positions yet so far, amazingly. Theo Hickman is 4th, followed by Blair Grills. Daniel P. Wilnut is 6th. Cena is in P7. Mayor Quenby with a 5-place penalty will start in P13, which moves Baza up to 8th. Chris Johnson will be 9th. M. Shep will start inside the top 10 with a fresh set of tyres. Then we have Angel vs. Death, Sayer Sports, Indecisive Mackie, Red Bull Kim, Kaya, Stereogram, Parsa, who had a qualifying ban, and Mr. John and Mike Noon, who crashed very early on in the session. I think he had some calibration issues with his wheel.
Owen got that penalty because he hit the back of a car on pit entry, and was given that 5-place penalty for it, which he will not be happy about. But the cars are lined up on the grid then, so just a reminder, that's 24 points Wet Lemons lead over Camo Babo, second in the championship. Then Wheelnut on 47 points, Chris Johnson 44, Theo Hickman 43, and Cena also on 43. And then there's a bit of a gap back to Jacko on 33. So can Jacko get back in the championship hunt today?
We're about to get underway then in Canada. Very tight grid here, not a lot of space. But we are underway in Canada, and it looks like Camo Babo got quite a bit of wheel spin off the line, and Jacko gets the better start. He has to go all the way around the outside, and he brakes a lot later than Camo Babo. Camo Babo very cautious into turn 1. He's going to have to go around the outside now of Wet Lemons. Theo Hickman is lagging just behind in P4. Hopefully that gets sorted out soon. But it's a brilliant start from Jacko, who now leads this race from Camo Babo, who has a penalty of some sort. I'm not quite sure.
Yeah, he's got
Did he jump the start?
He did. He jumped the start. He jumped the start, Camo Babo, and then he took it really easy down into turn 1. Doesn't want to compromise his race even further because he's already got to save a drive-through now. And Wet Lemons is alongside him, and he might get into second place. They're going to be side by side going into the next chicane here, and early on the brakes, Camo Babo, and Wet Lemons goes through into second, and Jacko is ahead in the lead. Disaster for Camo Babo.
Yeah, that's not what Camo Babo wants at all, and Theo's lag is also not something that he wants as well. It's hard to tell where the Williams driver actually is on the circuit. Hopefully that does not cause any disruptions later on. But Camo Babo then, I think he'd be better off just staying out until lap 3 and just get as much of a gap between himself and the rest of the field as he possibly can. But
well, he's losing another position. He gets a Blair Grills now, and I think there's Cena as well. Is he going to make the move? Well, he actually pits. He pits straight away, Camo Babo, which was probably for the best there because it was about to be an instant between Cena and Camo Babo, I think. So in the pit lane he comes, and so does Sayer Sports also pits. I think he's got damage.
Yeah, so Sayer Sports then not with the opening lap that he would have wanted. Let's just have a look. Yeah, that the right side of the wing has a significant amount of damage. I did see a few yellow flags pop up on that first lap there. So yeah, Sayer Sports with damage to his front wing makes that pit stop and is now on the medium tyres. He'll be hoping for a safety car later on in the race.
Chris Johnson's just gone for the spin and he's lost a few positions.
But for the lead,
Babo coming out the pit lane alongside.
Wet Lemons up the inside at the chicane in the second sector. We don't often see moves down this straight. Jacko hangs it round the outside. Now, was that over the track limit?
Safety
car
potentially
was, but we have a safety car. Now, who was ahead? I think Jacko was happy enough to let them... No, he was not. He was not happy enough to let Wet Lemons go.
Well, that's an interesting one then. Mike Noon had a crash and crashed out. I wonder if he's still having wheel issues. And he is out then of this race, but we have a safety car. Just very quickly, Roy, you see Hickman there in third place now. Is he totally glitching for you?
He is, yeah. He's not really weaving. He's teleporting from one side of the
Yeah, I
track to
don't know
the other.
what is going on there
Oh,
with
he's
Hickman,
teleported into
but
the pits.
yeah, I mean the whole thing's messing up. I think with Theo Hickman's car, which is a bit of a shame. But anyway, the drivers are coming into pit. Some of the drivers, anyway, we've got Bazza in. Bazza's staying out. Everybody else coming into the pit lane. As Hickman's got no wheels on my screen. That's is obviously just some sort of massive desync issue going on, I think. But the majority of the field are coming into the pit lane then. Jacko, Wet Lemons, it's Kaya, Mr. John, Bazza who have stayed out.
Yeah, so they'll be hoping for another safety car further on in the race. I mean, Bazza. I mean, it has to be strategical from Bazza because they have implemented a patch into the game where you don't get held up in a queue anywhere near as long anymore. So I don't think. Yeah, I think this is strategical from Bazza. I think he's hoping for another safety car further on in the race, which is quite likely. This is a track where it's all about your driving ability and not just the car you're driving. So it's Bazza will be hoping that there'll be more incidents later on in the event, and the probability is on his side. But the thing is, though, he will probably have to fight his way through the field later on because already we see Jacko and Wet Lemons are only just a few positions behind.
Yeah, it's very, very true. But Jacko's got Kaya in front of him, and I think Kaya's also glitching a little bit. I go onto Kaya's car, and the whole thing just totally flashes and it's giving me a seizure, epileptic seizure. And God, I don't have epilepsy because it is totally going crazy on the screen. I don't know if you've seen it, Roy, but I don't know what is going on with Kaya and Theo Hickman at the moment.
I think
And
the
I'm not
issue.
really
Oh,
sure what
Kaya pits. I think
Kaya's
the
pitting,
issue
isn't he?
with Kaya glitching might be a you problem, because it's not. He's fine for me. So I'm wondering if there's just general lag issues with the lobby, or
Yeah, I think it might be. I think it might be that. And for other drivers in the field, they might be seeing all sorts of different things and having all specific drivers lagging for them. But hopefully, it will sort itself out. It reminds me a little bit of the race in Imola last season when we had a sort of an extended safety car period because of lag. Don't know what's going to happen here, but we will see. I think we should be getting the restart on this lap, shouldn't we? And Kaya's actually retired from the
Kaya
race.
has crashed into the safety car.
Oh, he has, yeah.
Chris Johnson's running in P19. I'm not quite sure what happened there, but
Okay, well, he spun. He spun when I was too busy watching them instead of the battle for the lead at the time. Chris Johnson spun. I said that, and now he's pitted. He's actually made 2 stops, Chris Johnson. So I don't know if he's maybe tried to do a strategy, maybe of going back onto the medium tyres. Yeah, he is. He's on the medium tyres now. He's at the very back of the field.
okay, so Chris Johnson then will be hoping to make his way up the field. He tends to do that, but normally it's actually in the first few laps where he will gain a few places. He's not normally this far back, and especially this far into the race. We are on lap 4 of 18, so still 14 to go. And it'll be Bazza who leads the field ahead of Mr. John and Jacko. So we've got 2 Alfa Romeos in the top 3. Bazza will be hoping with a bit of luck further on in the race that he'll be able to maintain this position. But he's gone very early. The safety car is in the pits, so he's absolutely fine to do so. And Mr. John doesn't quite have the momentum behind. He'd actually get a slightly better exit from the chicane, but Wet Lemons is in prime position to have a look at Jacko heading into turn 1. I think he's just a little bit too far back. He can't brake late enough, and Wet Lemons will stay behind Jacko, but these two need to clear the traffic.
Oh, Mr. John going very wide there as well.
And Wet Lemons.
Turn 2, and Wet Lemons is going to go for Jacko now, isn't he? In turn 4, are they going to touch?
No, perfect amount of space given, and that's great racing. That's what we like to see. Now, will Wet Lemons go around the outside of turn 6? He's thinking about it, but it's not really something you can do. But Jacko goes very, very deep, and Theo is getting involved in the action as well, as is Blair Grills. But Wet Lemons, for now, is clear. Jacko just behind. He's in the slipstream, but I don't think he's going to have the momentum, and Wet Lemons has the position.
I'm just going to very quickly quit the lobby because I'm getting so much lag, but I don't believe you're seeing it on your screen, so I'm going to rejoin.
You're a little bit crackly.
It'll fix itself. Yeah, hopefully it'll sort itself out.
as Cena passes Blair Grills, and they're side by side heading out of the hairpin. Blair Grills with a much better exit. Theo is still lagging up in front. I think that may just be him. But Cena then in the slipstream of Blair Grills, or rather not in the slipstream. He's deciding he doesn't really want it heading into the chicane. Probably doesn't want to be too close so he can get momentum through the exit. But he doesn't get a great exit. Theo Hickman had quite a moment heading out of the chicane there. So poor exit from Theo. He's now down into 7th as Mayor Quenby comes out of absolutely nowhere, and Owen is now up into P6. So brilliant move there from Owen. Didn't quite realise how good an exit he got out of that chicane. So Owen now is up into P6, which is really now a net P4 because the top two have yet to pit. So Bazza then 7/10 clear of Mr. John, and Wet Lemons then already making a move on Mr. John. Got such a great exit out of the chicane at turn 7, and Wet Lemons then just one position behind the lead on track. But of course Wet Lemons has already made his pit stop, so he will have the net lead and the lead on track as well. So Wet Lemons then with a great deal of race pace.
I'm back in the lobby then, so I can see Wet Lemons, as you say, gaining on Bazza. And, well, could Wet Lemons be about to win another race this season, make it 4 in a row? Blair Grills side by side now with Mr. John. I would imagine he will get that move done, and he does indeed. So Blair Grills is going to try and hunt down Wet Lemons.
Yeah, Blair Grills then really showing himself out to be a contender here in Canada. He also has a great deal of race pace. So Bazza then, bearing in mind his teammate is in the fight for a podium place at the moment and potentially the win later on. Who knows, maybe the tyres will come back to him. But Bazza needs to do the best possible job here to hold up Wet Lemons and Blair Grills. We have a few penalties coming in. Track limits at Canada are often a big talking point, a big source of drama around this track because they are so marginal, of course. But we shall see how that factors later on in the race. I have to say though, the top 5 all penalty free.
And Bazza got a bit wide. Here's Wet Lemons going to go for it into the hairpin. He might have had a slight run, but he's very risky to go around the outside here of Bazza, surely. And he's going to try and do the switcheroo, get back around the insides, but he's going to have DRS here. And you have to imagine this is going to be a fairly easy move with Blair Grills half a second back. But Bazza is going to try and defend it.
He's trying to defend it, and do you know what? He's actually got a lot of straight line speed. Wet Lemons had the tow for the entire straight and DRS, but he also has fantastic traction, and he breezes past the Alfa Romeo and now has DRS down the main straight, and that is Wet Lemons very swiftly into the lead.
That's a penalty for Theo Hickman then, down in 8th place. He's just got a penalty for corner cut, and so Jacko, Blair Grills now catching up to Bazza, and I imagine if Blair Grills gets past Bazza, Jacko will squirt through quite quickly as well, because I can't imagine Bazza will make it too difficult for him. But it's vital really that Blair Grills gets through before Wet Lemon starts to pull away.
Yeah, and I think Bazza, it looks like he's gone for a straight line speed setup, or maybe Wet Lemons didn't use a whole lot of deployment down that straight and Bazza did, but it seems traction isn't great for Bazza right now. Of course, he has been on those soft tyres from the start of the race, but they shouldn't be too worn given that we've had a safety car. But down the inside goes Blair Grills on Bazza. Bazza may get DRS here if he goes ahead, and a bit of contact on the exit there, and Jacko moves past his teammate, and Jacko is now up into P3. So the top 3 have all made their pit stops and are all fighting for the race win. As Mayor Quenby is getting involved as well. He's going to go down the inside at the chicane on Bazza as Bazza pits. So Mayor Quenby then is suddenly in the fight for the race win as well. And bear in mind, he started in P13 after a grid penalty.
Yeah, it would be fantastic stuff for him if he managed to. If last week he was racing in Portimao, when he never even raced around the circuit before, and put in a pretty decent performance in the end, considering the circumstances. So this is a track which, of course, he knows very, very well. And is he going to end up picking up a podium, possibly even the victory here? We shall wait and see. But Blair Grills goes a bit wide. You mentioned the Vettel moment in 2011. Blair Grills done something very similar there and lost a huge amount of time to Wet Lemons just as he was gaining on him. And suddenly the gap goes to 1.1 seconds and he's got Jacko on the back of him now.
Tell you what, Mayor Quenby looks like he's very confident in traction zones and on the brakes as well. And he has a run on Jacko heading into the hairpin. Jacko does leave a bit of space down the inside, but Mayor Quenby elects not to use it. And Scene is getting involved as well now. So we have a 5-car battle for the lead. Wet Lemons is 1.3 clear out in front, but still, that is catchable. So Mayor Quenby then with the DRS. Jacko with the DRS. Blair Grills is the man under the most amount of pressure here. Owen has nowhere to go. So Owen better just sit back and hope he gets a good exit. He picks up a penalty. In the meantime, Cena is now the man on the move. Cena down the inside, or tries to go down the inside of Owen. Owen's not having it. Owen very deep on the brakes into turn 1. And has he made that stick? I believe he has. So Owen then with another late braking manoeuvre into turn 1. And he's moved himself up into P3 on the track.
Yeah, Owen went from nearly being overtaken by Cena to going past Blair Grills into turn 1 there, so he's into 3rd place. But he does have a penalty, but so does everybody else. In fact, Owen's got 2 penalties, so it's 6 seconds worth of penalties for Owen. That's not great for him at all, is it? So Blair Grills technically still in the 3rd place. Cena also has a 6-second penalty. Kamababa has a 5-second penalty. I imagine that must be speeding in the pit lane. So in terms of not having penalties, the fight sort of between Wet Lemons and Jacko at the moment, but the gap is 2.2 seconds, 8 laps to go.
Yeah, it actually kind of looks at the moment that Jacko is the driver in the top 5 with the least amount of pace at the moment. It's just he's managed to keep it clean, put in a great qualifying session, and putting in a great move once again is Mayor Quenby at the chicane. Jacko getting a terrible exit, and Blair Grills then with the DRS down the pit straight in the Aston Martin breezes past the Alfa Romeo and is now up into P3. So the question is, now that Wet Lemons has picked up a time penalty, and we have a spin.
It's stereogram.
So can Mayor Quenby catch up to Wet Lemons? He will still have to pull out an extra 3 seconds though.
Yeah, this is going to be really interesting, isn't it? This is going to all come down to penalties. Who doesn't get penalties? Blair Grills wide again through that corner. And Jacko might be able to get back ahead here. If Jacko cannot get any penalties, he could end up in a decent position. But is he going to be in 3rd place? Is he going to get the move already done there? Yes, he is. Although, to be honest, given the way this is going, Blair Grills might just blast straight back past him down the next DRS zone.
That could potentially happen. We have a spin. Parsa has crashed in the background. Does he have any front wing left? He's done a great job. He was running in P7, I believe, after starting at the back of the grid. I don't think he has any major damage, so he should be okay to continue, and he's still running in the top 10.
And there's Blair Grills going straight past, just going straight back past Jacko. So he made the error, then he goes straight back through, and he just avoids the wall of champions there, and he's back into 3rd place. 2.2 seconds now as Cameron Babo gets ahead of Cena for 5th place as well.
Ooh. He could have crossed a little bit early there and before the braking zone, but no contact was made. So Camo Babo, after that drive-through penalty, of course the pole sitter is now running in P5. So can Camo Babo find his way up onto the podium? At the moment, Jacko is still actually on the podium because he does not have any penalties, and Blair Grills does not like that turn 6. He's been running wide there a few times now, and this is what's giving Jacko the momentum, because Jacko's traction doesn't seem to be optimal. It does seem that out of traction zones Jacko is a bit weaker than the cars around him, but of course when the car in front makes a mistake like that, it does make your life a bit easier. Now the roles are reversed, and it's going to be Jacko who has the DRS down the back straight.
Well, just very quickly, I was just checking the graphics there, and Camo Babo got the 5-second penalty for a collision with Chris Johnson, and I imagine that was just when the safety car came out, because they were really close together. So I'm going to work under the assumption right now that that penalty is going to get removed from Camo Babo. So it's not for speeding, it's for, must have been a safety car collision. So right now I'm going to say that Camo Babo does not actually have a penalty at the moment.
And I would tend to agree, as Jacko has a look at turn 1. Blair Grills very cautious, giving him plenty of space were he to actually make that move. But Blair Grills then, he's just defending the position. He does have a penalty. He's probably going to be hoping that he can make Jacko push to the point where he gets a penalty himself. But I think he'll also see that Camo Babo has a penalty. But of course we know why that is, and we know that it will probably, not guaranteed, but it will probably be removed. But of course we'll have to find out later on.
Well, at this rate, Jacko, with the because of the penalties the cars ahead, he is actually set to finish in 2nd place. It's 5.3 seconds now he is behind the leader, Wet Lemons, but of course he was well within Mayor Quimby's time, who also has that 6-second penalty, don't forget, as Jacko now is going to have a run, and is he going to get back past Blair Grills this time round, and what can Camo Babo do as well? Remember, Don't think that's going to be a penalty for him, but Jacko side by side with Bear Grylls now is going to be tight into the hairpin.
And Chris Johnson is out of the race before or after the hairpin. I can't
Safety
quite
car is
tell.
out.
And
I think he dropped it on the exit. He dropped it on the exit of the hairpin, and somebody's pitted immediately. Cena's come straight in. Now, is that to possibly save some penalty, I wonder? Because Cena's come straight in there. Although I think they're all corner cut penalties, aren't they? So he's actually changed his front wing, Cena. That's interesting. Safety car out then, and Wet Lemons managed to get past the safety car before it was deployed.
And I've got to say, this means that Jacko is now the net leader of the race. Because he has 0 seconds worth of penalties.
Does indeed mean that Jacko is the net leader of this race then, and I can't imagine we're going to see anybody pitting or anything, so it's going to be a bit of a shootout to the finish here. I think we're only going to get like two laps of finish for this race. Just have a look at the penalties. Well, Lemons 3 seconds, Owen 6 seconds, Jacko doesn't have a penalty, Blair Grylls 3, Kamababo, I don't think he has a penalty. Shep's in a fantastic 6th place right now, but he has 6 seconds worth of penalties. Baza has 3 seconds.
And I'm delighted to say we've been joined in the commentary box by TGP creator Don Smith. Good evening, Don.
Well, good evening, boys. What a race this is. 4 laps to go here. Safety car deployed. And do you know what? Mr. John, I've just spotted, on 49 career podiums. He's been chasing for that 50th for years. It feels like an eternity. But, of course, he doesn't have a time penalty. I think every single driver does. Jacko's
pit. Yeah, Jacko's come in. He's putting a fresh set of soft tyres on. Now, is he going to lose? How many positions is he going to lose? Is he going to lose to Shep? Is he going to lose to Bazza as well? I wonder if Bazza might back off. Really, Bazza should surely just back off here and let his teammate go ahead. But, well, clearly no communications going on there, because that's not what's happened. Surely it would have been a lot more sensible there to have just let Jacko go ahead. So Jacko decided to pit. That's a strange decision, considering the fact he was essentially had a net lead.
Wow. I can't make a lot of sense of that, to be honest. He had the position. He was literally in the net lead of the race, and he's decided to give it away. We're only going to get a 3-lap sprint at the end here. Possibly 2, but I think the safety car should come in as lap. But then again, the field is still quite spread out. So they've just passed the second sector split there.
It's going to be another lap, isn't it?
So it's only going to be 2 laps at the end.
Yeah. So it's actually Kamababo's in the net lead now. Because, like I say, I mean, I don't know if you've seen the instance or not, Don, but I think it's not. I think it was a collision that happened under the safety car. So I think he's going to get that 5 seconds removed, Kamababo. So Kamababo is in the net lead. Well, will be in the net lead for the restart.
So I wonder if Jacko knows that. I wonder if Jacko knows that Kamababo's going to get his penalty removed, because I don't see why he would give up track position, because now he's going to have to. He has to pass Kamababo. There's nothing. Otherwise, he's going to get the win. So, Mr. John, the longer this safety car stays out for, the better for John, because that's less time for those in front to try and pull the gap. So John could be on for that 50th podium. Jacko has got an almighty scrap to try and beat Kamababa here for the win. If that penalty stands, we're not too sure. I didn't see it. Something to do with Chris under the safety car, but I assume it will have been for a slight tap, maybe one that can be removed. But yeah, this race is wide open and it could go anyway. I have no idea. I hope you boys enjoy it.
Yeah, this is going to be a fantastic finale then, as once the Aston Martin safety car departs, which it will surely do at the end of this lap, and it is going to be a 2-lap sprint. Should just say, really, we've barely mentioned him in the race. Theo Hickman down in 14th right now, and in fact Red Bull Kim goes off just ahead of him, and I thought Hickman was going to get the position there, but he doesn't. So again, the defending champion not having a great race.
Someone who is also having a good race is Shep. He's currently running in P5. He does have 6 seconds of penalties, so he will drop a few positions, but still, he's kept it all together, apart from those 2 penalties. And he could be on for a pretty decent result if people pick up more penalties, because this could get a bit hectic in the last 2 laps.
Keep an eye on Kim too, by the way. Keep an eye on Kim. I think his 5 second will be removed, so he could very
well.
Kim's
just retired.
Kim has just crashed.
Yeah.
Oh, never mind. Goes to the commentator.
Literally, just as you said that, we got the message through that he was out the race. I think there's been some sort of incident towards the back of the field, because I don't know what's going on. But anyway, up at the front is where we're going to watch. because the safety car is about to come in. And, well, can Kamababo, who does not have a penalty right now, is he going to stop Wet Lemons from making it 4 wins in a row?
Well, Lemons then didn't get a great exit out of that chicane, and Mark Quenby is now all over the back of him. And Mark Quenby has been quite fond of an old move into turn 1. Will he decide to do it this time? No, he doesn't. So Mark Quenby then stays in P2. Wet Lemons is a bit deep through turn 1, so Mark Quenby may get the better exit out of turn 2, but he does not have enough momentum to make the move into turn 3. We've got a yellow flag just behind. Not quite sure what that is for. Sayre Sports is out of the race. That's both Hasses in the space of about half a lap that are out of this race. Jacko is now P5 on the track, and Camo Babo is the car ahead of him, so potentially this could be the battle for the lead unless Wet Lemons can stretch out that gap. And at the moment I think Wet Lemons could do that, but Mark Quenby is all over the back of him. Mark Quenby looks like he has more pace at this moment in time, but of course he does have 3 seconds more in terms of penalties. So
because the crucial thing about this is that we're not going to get DRS deployed, are we? So this is going to be pure down to using your energy, as both Wet Lemons and Mayor Quimby are both using it right now. So we will see if Mayor Quimby can get a slipstream and can possibly get past Wet Lemons to slow him down a little bit further. It would still be a net lead for Wet Lemons, but he cannot do it as they reach the end of the back straight. And Wet Lemons nearly drops it, and will Owen go for it now? The side by side.
Side by side, heading into turn 1. Mark Quemby has the inside line. Will he be later on the brakes? Yes, he will.
Oh!
Too late, in fact. Did they make the corner? I don't think Wet Lemons did. I think he went a little bit deeper. But this is just handing time to Camo Babo, and Camo Babo could be on course to win this race, because the two out in front are just scrapping way too much for their liking. And Mark Quemby then goes a bit deep into turn 3. Camo Babo then wants to do a bit of fighting on the track. He's now moved up into a net P3. Brilliant move, just about caught it on the spectator cam. Now where can Camo Babo finish on the road, because he does have quite the run now on Mayor Quenby. Doesn't really need it though if he is going to appeal that penalty. And Jacko is currently running in P5. Mr. John is staying in P8. He will gain positions at the end, but I'm not quite sure it's going to be that podium he's looking for. And in fact, Parsa is now going round the outside at the hairpin. I think Mr. John not really putting up much of a fight. He just needs to get to the end as quickly as he possibly can, because that's the way he's going to gain the most positions. So Jacko then, don't think he's going to put anyone under pressure, and Baza is, well, he's not going to put him under pressure. But out in front, it is Wet Lemons to take another victory on the track at least. Wet Lemons wins in Canada. And Camo Babo, well actually Jacko has crossed the line.
Got the win. Yeah, but Camo Babo will be given the win because he was at his 5-second penalties was added on. Camo Babo will be given the win though, because obviously the game has given Camo Babo the penalty, but 4.1 seconds behind Jacko for Camo Babo, so obviously remove 5 seconds, and Camo Babo will be given the win, I believe, in this race. It's Camo Babo from Jacko from Wet Lemons.
I mean, I think Wet Lemons, after all that, won't be too disappointed. Probably could have done without Owen at the end of that race. But, I mean, hey, Owen had a lot to fight for as well. And in the end, actually, you know, Owen doesn't seem to like the final lap around Canada, because he's just managed to pick up a penalty at the final chicane there. He had quite the moment in TGP1 last time he raced here. But Mr. John then gets driver of the day for finishing P6. The game will register it as P5, but I believe, well, Camo Babo, if you are listening, I would suggest getting footage of that penalty, and if you do not believe you are at fault, I would get that into the steward's room, because you may cost yourself a victory otherwise. So Jacko then, whether it's first or second, I think that's a great day for him. Wet Lemons, despite controlling the race out in front for so long, will only take P3. So just going to try and figure out what the standings are like at the moment, but it's going to be possibly a bit awkward, because we've got Daniel P. Wheeler got a 21-second penalty now. I don't think that's genuine, so I'm not entirely sure where he's finished in the field. I think he's somewhere around 9th, 10th perhaps, so he may go up a few positions once all the penalties have been looked at, because there was something definitely happened under the safety car, I think towards the back of the field, involving him. But yeah, it looks like it's going to be the win for Camo Babo. Jacko in second, and well, could Jacko have won that if he didn't make the pit stop? It is worth pointing out, though, I don't know if you can get 7 3-second penalties. Does it not disqualify you at that point, or is that kind of the final straw? Because it does add up, because, 5 doesn't really work in there unless you
Yeah,
have
that's
two
true.
5-second penalties. But then if he has two 5-second penalties, that just leaves 11, so he may just have got 7 corner cut penalties. But
Well, we've got the championship standings here right now. So this is based on the victory for Camababo. It's 94 points for Wet Lemons, 81 for Camababo. So the gap has been cut to 13 points now between those two. You've got Daniel Wheelwheelnut on 50 points. Jacko is actually in third place on 51 points now. And then Daniel Wheelnut on 50. Cena on 49, Theo on 48, Chris Johnson on 44. So there's a 30-point gap now between Camababo and Jacko from second to third place. But still a very good result for Jacko in that race. And 13 points separating Wet Lemons and Camababo.
still all to play for, of course, in this very early stage of the season. And Monaco, well, can't always predict how Monaco's going to go because it is such a challenge, such a narrow street circuit, and well, we usually see all sorts here. We do see some damage from the walls. We do see some corner cut penalties, just like in Canada. It won't be as bad. There's not as many places to do it, but there's just so much to look out for. Even the invisible barriers cause issues. So hopefully we get underway fairly soon.
So we got cut from 24 points to 13 then between the top two Wet Lemons and Camababo, and I have to say it's already beginning to look like it may well be a championship battle between those two, but I wouldn't rule Jacko out. He hasn't had a great start to the season, but I would not rule Jacko out, and he is now in third place in the championship on 51 points. And of course just got great results just there in Canada. Would not rule Jacko out of it, but Wet Lemons and Camababo certainly setting the early pace, you have to say.
I mean, hey, even if it is just a 2-car battle for the championship, that can still be very entertaining, so fine by me. And of course each race is normally entertaining regardless, so we're just here for the vibes, we're here for the action. So we are about to get underway for qualifying in Monaco.
Point out as well, by the way, it's a full lobby around Monaco as well, so that's gonna be fun.
Yeah, always always interesting.
Last season in TGP1 and in TGP2 we didn't actually get any sort of safety car in either race around Monaco, I seem to remember, or virtual safety car.
Much to my annoyance.
Yeah, because you needed it to happen, I think, didn't you, in TGP1? You were gambling on it happening.
I was a total nuisance to everyone who came up behind me. So, apologies for that. I was, providing quite the roadblock. But, I mean, to be honest, that's me at most races nowadays, but hey-ho. Yeah, Monaco, I probably wasn't making a lot of friends. But, yeah, it didn't work out for me.
We'll see what happens next season in TGP1 then when it gets underway. Well, we're focusing on TGP2, and well, in the first 2 weeks of the season, the second race of the night has been wet. So if it's another wet one this time, it will certainly be incredibly difficult for the drivers. But we've certainly got a dry quali around Monaco. It is indeed. I just wonder if it's going to be a sort of a night or a dusk possibly setting for the race. Maybe usually we do tend to see that in Monaco for the second season in TGP2 on a game. But it looks like the McLaren's going to be the first car out on track. One of the McLarens, not sure which one. Going to be one of the two. And waiting to see what the weather will be like for the race. Haven't got the report through at the moment.
No, but we do await that rather eagerly. But think also with a fair amount of eagerness is the drivers who are now beginning to head out onto the track. You don't really get a huge amount of tyre wear around here, so you can kind of use the same set of tyres for 2 runs here, and Blair Grills has just kind of knocked the wall at the pit exit there. Hopefully that hasn't done him any damage. But yeah, you can definitely do 4 runs around here because it's quite a short lap as well. So yeah, it's worth getting out there early and just maximising the amount of track time and experience that you have. But,
yeah, and it is going to be a dry race, by the way, just to confirm.
And we have a very impatient Red Bull. Not quite sure who that is. It's not Mr. John. It's
Wet Lemons has crashed out of the session. Are you kidding me? Wet Lemons has crashed out at where's that? Is that Mirabeau? He's crashed out. He's just in the wall. Well, I mean, certainly on this game, if he hasn't been hit on this game, that corner is very, very difficult compared to any other F1 game that I've ever played around Monaco. So you have to be quite early on the brakes, earlier than what you think. And is that maybe what's happened on the outlap? Wow.
Yeah, it's a strange one. I wonder if he got hit, because it's a strange thing to do on an outlap, or maybe he was just trying to warm the tyres up and was kind of weaving mid-corner and hit the inside wall and got spat out to the outside. But I mean, hey, I suppose we should probably ask the man himself at some point and try and figure out what happened there.
Well,
but,
there'll be huge celebrations going on down at Alpine and Camababo, and sure Jacko as well will be delighted about that, because the championship leader around Monaco is going to be starting from the very back.
Yeah, and Kaya's gone down the runoff a la Nico Rosberg, and Parsa has not had a great turn 1 there. He was quite deep.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Avoided the wall, but yeah, that's not what he wants. But I mean, hey, at this rate, I mean, you know, Wet Lemons is already out of the session, so if you can just put a lap in, you'll be ahead of him. So,
Kaya's still stuck down that runoff because so many cars are coming through to set the lap times. But we'll see who gets the first lap time on the board as Parsa invalidates his lap. I think Hickman is going to be the first driver. Theo Hickman, he's got Andyverse Death just ahead of him. He might get a bit of a tow actually across the line. Oh! I think they briefly touched there, but Theo does not DNF, luckily. And of course, he'll be able to go again on a 112.304. That's the first lap on the board there.
Oh, we've
many more will follow.
In the wall. Not quite sure which. It's not Red Bull Kim. Sayer Sports has gone straight on at turn 1, straight into the barrier. So, very much overestimating the braking ability of his Haas. But Sayer Sports in the wall. Now this is a perfect opportunity for someone like Chris Johnson to get a pretty strong qualifying result in. He's just made his way around turn 1. I think he's hit the wall a little bit on the exit. But with Wet Lemons out of the session, like, you know, and Monaco being Monaco, this could be an opportunity for Chris.
The first runs have been completed, I think, by everybody, and they're either in the pit lane or down to do another one because they invalidated, apart from Hickman. He's the only driver who's got a lap in.
And even then, he crashed into another car on a straight.
So, a highly eventful start to the session, because you've got loads of drivers who are going to come back out to the pit lane again now to go again. Just the one lap on the board. Good job it's not one-shot quali. I think Jacko is about to set a lap now on his second time round, and he is also on the medium tyres, by the way, for his first run. He's surely will be switching to the soft tyres eventually.
Chris Johnson's shedding body work the further he goes around this lap. He's not had a particularly good one. Will he abandon it completely? No, he's still going to finish because he realises he's going to be at least P4 just by setting the lap. And yeah, it's P4 now, P5 as Parsa.
Oh my God! There's been a huge crash between Chris Johnson and Parsa, and it's penalty for Chris Johnson. Did he back off to get out the way of Parsa, maybe? And Parsa just went straight into the back of him? I think that's what might have happened.
I have to say, I was paying more attention to the timing tower because I didn't really expect, you know, a crash to happen on the straight again. But yeah, that was. I'll have to watch that one back because I don't really have. I think I just about caught it. Moved someone else down that Mirabeau runoff.
Yeah, it's indecisive.
Mirabeau causing all sorts of dramas. So we are 1/3 of the way through the session. We have 5 laps on the board.
And Wet Lemons has said that he was messing about a little bit with the MFD on the screen and broke a bit too late into the corner and went into the wall and out of the session.
Camo Babo is on a lap, as is Mayor Quenby, I believe. Where is Mayor Quenby on the track? Okay, so Camo Babo is further ahead. He's at the hairpin at the moment. So will Camo Babo set a lap that will, well, just get him on the board? He's got a Mercedes ahead of him. That would be Daniel just ahead of him. He won't get any sort of tow from this kind of range. I would hope that Daniel will move out the way after this chicane, and he's not doing so. I don't know if Daniel realises that there's an Alpine that's very much behind him.
I mean, oh, there we go. We got out of the way eventually. I mean, I'm not really sure where he's supposed to get out of the way. Oh, he's nearly just on a Charles Leclerc there, coming about, and totally backs off completely on the lap.
I mean, the lap was still valid. He would have got himself a top 5 there. So, well, realistically,
I think he might have got a bit of damage, maybe. That's why he's pitting, perhaps, when he hit the wall.
So still, then he doesn't set a lap as Mayor Quenby goes on to provisional pole. It's been a while since provisional pole was actually set. So it kind of just feels a bit strange now. You kind of forget that it's actually a qualifying session.
I think Blair Gills might be about to beat it as well now. It's going to be a good lap, I think. It goes into second place then. So second place for Blair Gills, and Mayor Quenby still the only driver so far to get into the 111s.
Well, Cena is back in the session, so hopefully he will add to the list of times on the board. M-Shep slots into P6, and yeah, this is what I'm saying. I mean, like,
oh, a huge crash for Kaya going through the swimming pool chicane there. Massive crash. He was actually setting a decent lap there, and then goes and hits the wall. It's very easy to do with the swimming pool chicane. And sadly, he is also now out of the session.
Wheelnut purple in sector 2 apparently, but we shall see how this develops through the final corner. He's kept it clean, he's kept it valid. Wheelnut across the line. Stays P5.
Can't improve. Just watching Hickman come around the penultimate corner here. I think, well, it said he was up by 3/10, but he's actually now way off. So I don't know if he's made an error. 4 seconds off in the end. So he stays in third place for the time being then. 9 minutes to go in the session.
As Blair Grills sets a new provisional pole time, half a second clear of Owen in P2. So Blair Grills then, he's finding some form out there. He's set 2 quick laps, which is more than can be said for anyone else really at this point. It's not been the smoothest of qualifying sessions for the drivers, but I mean that's just Monaco, I suppose. It's incredibly difficult to hook a lap up, but of course worth noting, all you need is one.
I think the next driver to set a lap here is going to be Red Bull Kim, is it not? Yes, it is going to be Red Bull Kim, because that's an outlap that Camo Babo's on. And Red Bull Kim, it said he went purple in the middle sector, but I think that might be because he just hasn't completed a lap yet. And he crossed the line, Red Bull Kim, and oh, have to be careful with that Alpine there. And goes into 9th position for the time being.
So, I mean, I was saying earlier, this is, Camo Babo in the wall. He has no wing, and still no lap time as Theo Hickman 4/10 clear. Now, normally in TGP2 we see incredibly close qualifying sessions. At the moment, we have 2 cars within a second of that time. So hopefully, now that the drivers have kind of got their eye in,
Camo Babo is going to be leaving it late, isn't he, to get a lap in here, because he just crashed again there. Could we possibly have the top 2 in the championship not getting a competitive lap time in? Jacko is coming around the penultimate couple of corners now, nearly drops it at the exit of Raskas, but I think he's going to improve.
Let's see, Jacko
in fact, he's not. He's not going to improve. He's half a second off. And that was his first lap on the soft tyres. He was on the mediums last time round.
Right, Chris Johnson, this is the perfect opportunity I think if Chris Johnson is P10 at the end of this session, he will not be pleased with himself after how this has gone for everyone else, as well as his key title contenders. So at the moment then, Chris Johnson, I think he should be looking for at least P6 at the moment, perhaps P4 actually. So Chris Johnson then, he keeps a nice tight line through the Nouvelle Chicane. That's what you want. Minimise the amount of time you spend turning through to back. Then all he needs to do is just get a tidy lap in, because his current lap is a 1 minute 15.7, which is nowhere relative to Theo. So Chris Johnson then just 2 more corners to negotiate, and well, we're looking pretty good for an improvement here. DRS is open through the curved pit straight. Why is he backed
He's backed off.
What's he done that for?
Well, he's gone 9th. He's gone 10th, sorry, even. What? You just appeared on the screen then.
There was an AlphaTauri behind him. Cena has rejoined the session.
Right, sorry,
What do you do? What's he done that for?
And Mike New goes into 6th place. So does Chris Johnson maybe want to start on thingy tyres, on fresh tyres for the race, outside the top 10? Mate, Quimby goes to 1:10.9.
Merrick Quenby then showing a great deal of pace. A pity he wasn't around for week 1, because I think he could be right in this. And I mean, hey, Camo Balbo is currently 15th, Wet Lemons is 17th, so this could put him right back into it. But yeah, Chris Johnson, I think, is looking at this and thinking, well, literally the worst Chris Johnson can actually finish now is 14th.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, we've already got what? We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7 drivers. But Baz just gets a lap in now, so it's going to be what? 5 drivers who are not going to get a lap in at all in this session. Babo still might get one in.
Chris Johnson can improve by what, like a second and a half, maybe slightly less, and he'll still only be 11th. So I think that is Chris's plan. But someone who I don't think will have that plan is Camo Babo, and he will be very eager to, well, start higher than 16th anyway. So he just needs to get a lap on the board.
It's such a good opportunity for Camo Babo, isn't it? To possibly even lead the championship by the end of tonight, considering the gap's 13 points and it is Monaco. And well, Evans is going to be at the very back. Camo Babo,
let's go on board.
Should be taking full advantage of this.
Let's see how he does then. Through turn 1, take as much curb as you possibly can without invalidating it, and then don't hit the wall on the exit. Through turn 2, absolutely flat out, quite bumpy. But turn 3 then, keep as tight a line as possible. Run a little bit wide in the middle and then tuck back in for the Casino Square. In real life, you need to avoid the bump. Not so much on the game. Mirabeau has been causing all sorts of dramas and all sorts of understeer there for Camo Babo. And he takes a very tight line through the hairpin. You can invalidate your lap there, and you can here as well, but Camo Babo using plenty of curb, but keeping it all within the track limits. Now, try to prioritise the exit out of Portier. The tunnel is absolutely flat out, and down the steep descent into the Nouvelle Chicane. Keep it as tight as you possibly can. Use as much curb as possible. Square the car as early as you possibly can to get the best possible exit. Take as much speed through to back as you dare without hitting the wall. Swimming pool chicane, the curbs can unsettle the car, and they can also do the same through the second part of it. Now, Raskas, you want to just get a nice clean exit through here, and then the final corner, Anthony Nogues, he's done that quite well. DRS is open. This will be the first valid lap for Camo Babo, and it puts him onto the front row.
Just off Mate Quimby's time then. I think he'd be very happy with that, Camo Babo, for the time being. And he should be able to get back into the pit lane and get a fresh set of tyres on as Blair Grills goes into 4th place. Just watching Hickman here, who's just coming out of the tunnel now on the run to Tabak. We see what he is in the second sector time. I think he was a 10th down in the first sector. Oh, he's way off in this middle sector.
Yeah, he's not pushing. I saw the light flashing at the back of his car. He could still just about have enough time to come into the pits were he to do that, but no, he wants to go for another lap. And that's probably the best decision, assuming he has the fuel on board, of course. But Theo Hickman then, let's see what he can do. He's currently in P3, and I think with the way this session has gone for a lot of drivers, I think he'll take that, to be honest. So Theo then, what can he do in Sector 1? Takes a nice line through Massenet. to sector 1. He's 2/10ths down on his own lap, but there could still be a lot of time to find out there. If you can really nail a lap, it's hard to nail all 3 sectors. You know, it's easy to do one at a time, but to get all 3 together is quite a feat. So Theo then through the tunnel, flat out as always. And Monaco, I swear it does actually, it looks fairly decent at night, I've got to say. I think night racing does enhance the appearance of street tracks, as the Alfa Romeo moves nicely out of the way. Theo then, he is finding time, and it's enough time. If he can hold on to this, it will be enough to put him onto pole position then. Mayor Quemby is on an outlap, so he is going to contest this lap. And Theo Hickman then, he's used up all of his deployment. His DRS is open. Theo Hickman across the line. It is provisional pole by quite some margin. Half a second he improved his time by. And he's 4/10ths clear of Owen. But Owen still has a lap to go. He doesn't really have a whole lot to lose at the moment. Because, again,
I'm just wondering if that's Theo saying, don't rule me out of this championship.
Of course, yeah, Theo, still a whole lot of this season to go. We've only done, 5 races out of 22? So, there's still a lot of racing still to be done.
Jacko is half a second up in the middle sector here. This is looking like a very quick one. Oh, he's gone very deep at Raskas. He's nearly doing a Schumacher. He's in the wall. He's all over the place. Oh, and he spun, and that's totally destroyed the lap.
That's not what he needed. As well. And Owen, he got held up there by an Aston Martin. I'm not quite sure who that is. Oh, it's Blair Grills.
It's Blair Grills on an outlap. So that's going to cause a bit of controversy. And he's retired from the session because of it. And his lap was going to hand the pole position to Hickman.
I hope that Alpine.
Kamababo's on a lap.
Oh, he was.
Kamababo's on a lap. Why? What happened?
That could be controversial because Owen
retired in front of him. Yeah.
I don't know if it hampered him. It certainly would have distracted him, but that could be enough to find himself in some sort of trouble later on.
Well, so the gap between these two is so close as well, isn't it? But it's so
he may not need it.
Look at that. Look at that middle sector by Kamababo. He may well easily clear Owen Quemby here, and he may well be going for pole. Again, deep in Raskas, and he's done the Jacko. Well, that's 2 drivers there making a similar mistake at Raskas, just going in way too hot and losing the lap. And Mike Nude's done the same thing. He was 6/10ths up, and he's just done the same thing. And he's also going to ruin his lap time at the very end of the session. So 3 laps destroyed at the very end of the session because of Raskas.
And look who is in P10 on the medium compound tyre.
Oh, interesting. And I'm not sure for Monaco really, but you never know.
It can work. Again, last season for me it didn't, but
yes.
So who knows? Chris could become the roadblock. But Chris does like an alternate strategy, but given that he's done a 1:12.8 on the mediums, surely he could have been at least 7.
I would love to have seen where Mike New could have got there, because he was 6/10ths up. Going into the final sector, it would have been great to have seen where he would have ended up on that lap. But I don't know, there was a bit of oil maybe down at Raskas or something, because a lot of drivers making errors there. But we have our quali lineup for this 20-car Monaco race.
Oh, Chris Johnson, he's picked up a 5. Oh, of course, he had
that would have been for
major
the collision with Barso, wouldn't it? Yeah.
So that's so he knows his race then is pretty much it's compromised heavily. So
it's actually a massive negative that he now has to start the race on tyres, on the quali tyres that he set the lap on in 15th place.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose it kind of still makes sense, I suppose. Sort of. We'll see what happens. It's Monaco. You never really know what's going to happen. I don't have time to run through the whole grid, but I'll show you the results on screen. And
the most important one is Wet Lemons. Starting in 18th place.
P18. So even with Chris Johnson's 5-place penalty starting in 10th, from 10th, he'll still start ahead of him with Camo Babo in P3.
This is such a big opportunity then for the likes of Camo Babo and Jacko, isn't it? To gain on wet lemons in the championship, but Monaco, it's very unpredictable. Anything can happen. You can see the no smoking banner there.
I was just going to point that out. I've
Yeah.
never seen that.
Has that been added since the last update or
I've
something?
never seen that. I'm going to watch back footage from last season when this is over and see if that's always been there, because I have no recollection of that. But anyway, more important matters. Time is of the essence here, or no time like the present, I should say. Here we go then. The lights are out in Monaco and we are racing. It's a very wheel spinny start there from Owen. He's not quite used to start procedures on this game. And Camel Babo then is straight up into second place. It's a great start from Theo then. He did exactly what he needed to do. And Theo is now leading this race. Wet Lemons is already up into P14 after starting 18th. So Theo then leading from Camel Babo on lap 1.
Nightmare for Jacko, though. Jacko down to 8th place as a Red Bull. Mike Noon going for Bazet. Oh, they've touched, he's hit the wall, and Cena's gone clean round the outside of him. Brilliant move. Oh, but he's gone straight into the back of Bazet. There was a bit of gridlock at the hairpin. Oh, and there's so much damage for cars. They're all just hitting each other. There's a big traffic jam. And we're going to get a few pit stops at the end of this first lap.
Yeah, it looks like there was quite the traffic jam. I mean, you tend to get a bit of a traffic jam at that hairpin, but it's never usually that bad, as Mike Noon is now up into P5. And Mike Noon is looking fairly eager to get the race underway as M. Shep retires from the session at the chicane. So will we see a safety car at this early stage in the race? Wet Lemons is already ahead of Chris Johnson. He's up into P12. So somehow Owen is out.
Owen's also out at the exit of the swimming pool. Virtual safety car. Well,
Blair
I don't know,
Grills
it's not a full one.
Gets a drive-through penalty for speeding under the virtual safety car. Parsa gets a penalty for colliding with Chris Johnson, so they're one apiece
again.
Now.
Yeah.
Yeah, Blair Grills has just undone any strategic advantage there by getting a drive-through penalty for this VSC.
A lot of these drivers will be thankful that we've got a VSC at least, where you can make pit stop, change the front wing. We've got both Ferraris in. Ferraris having to queue here, as Parsa's having to queue, get the front wing on. And Owen has obviously left the session not happy with what's happened there at the swimming pool exit. And we're still under VSC. Oh, poor Blair Grills. He's now got to obviously save that drive-through as well. That's a shame for him, isn't it? But it looks like all the drivers are going to get out, hopefully back on track before we get back underway, which is good.
Wet Lemons, I believe, pitted because he's maintained his position there. He has a little bit of a gap to Cena in front. Parsa has managed to get a penalty at the pit exit. What's happened to Parsa here? He's gone on to hards firstly, which is
there's actually a few drivers who put the hards on. And
Wet
Lemons has got a
Lemons.
safety car, a Fabu penalty for speeding under the virtual safety car.
And Parsa has a significant amount of damage on that Ferrari. Not quite sure what the incident with Stereogram was. I think Stereogram may have been trying to let him back through. But we are racing once again, and Parsa has gone down the Mirabeau runoff, which has seen plenty of action so far tonight. But Theo then with a 1 second lead over Camel Babo, and track position around Monaco is so crucial, as I'm sure you are well aware, Daniel. Camel Babo then will have his work cut out if he wants to pass Theo. But
well, we thought that. Oh, and Mike Noon's hit the wall at Mirabeau and has lost his front wing. He was in a brilliant third place, and then he goes to the back of Jacko because he can't stop the car. But he's got no front wing now. Oh, it's looking so good for him as well. But also, Chris Johnson also got a drive through in that VSC restart as well, so he's also going to have to come in. But Wet Lemons made the great pit stop there under the VSC, but it's totally been destroyed now because he is also going to have to come into the pit lane. And Baz has also just made the stop. I think he had some damage. And Mike Noon's now out the race. He's crashed at the exit of the Nouvelle Chicane.
Yeah, I think Mike Noon was just trying to get it back to the pits far too quickly compared to what his car could handle. But that's a real shame for him. Joe Sayers had a very good opening part of this race. He's currently running in P5. Of course, there are cars behind who have made their pit stops under the virtual safety car, but I mean, I think at this rate we are going to get another one. But I mean, hey, maybe we won't now that I've said that. Maybe I'll do the commentator's curse in that regard. Perhaps some drivers will be happy with that, as Theo is lapping the ghost car of Stereogram, his teammate.
Well, look at obviously Mike Newton hitting the wall there. We've got 8 seconds between Kamababo and Jacko now in 3rd place, as Chris Johnson just passed Say Sports in 5th place, but he's going to have to pit because he has that drive-through, and Bet Lemons also hasn't pitted. Blair Grills has just saved his drive-through. He's going to be very close coming out the pit lane, side by side with Angel versus Death here, and Blair Grills just stays ahead on the exit, but is Angel versus Death going to go for it? Oh, he's gone for it into Massenet. That was never going to work.
No, especially on hard tyres when the car in front has more momentum. It didn't really make a whole lot of sense, as Cena is continuing to have some disconnection issues here. So as Angel versus Death has retired at Mirabeau. Mirabeau's seeing all the action tonight. We have a McLaren who has retired, and are we going to see a virtual safety car or safety car? I don't think we are. The race director is keen to go car racing, so fine by me. But Theo Hickman then.
Very strange how obviously we didn't get safety car here last season either. It's almost like just safety cars are just not programmed to come out or something around Monaco. I don't know on this game, because still haven't seen one. But and you would say that we haven't seen an instance that would be worthy of one so far. But we've got Chris Johnson passing Red Bull Kim out for 6th place. Cena's obviously not here. Wet Lemons is coming out and saving his drive-through, of course. So to say, Sports going out the pit lane. Chris Johnson up into 6th place then.
And it's a real shame for Cena. Hopefully he can come back. He is the lead car of those who have made their pit stops. But I mean, he wouldn't be ahead of Theo and Camo Babo anyway. But still, he did have a bit of a strategic advantage there. But this is the ideal race to score some big points here. We could see some shock results here, because we effectively only have 14 cars left in the race, because Stereogram has ghosted, and we have a yellow flag at the back for, I believe,
I think that was indecisive.
Alpine. Yeah.
No, it wasn't indecisive.
Oh, it was a blue car. Who's the blue car?
I think it must have been a Williams, maybe.
Oh, it may have been Stereogram's ghost.
Yeah,
okay. So we may just have to put up with the odd intermittent blue flag. Is he still in the race?
Well, he's in the pit lane. He is still in the race, but he's in the pit lane now. But we're on lap 6. We're only on lap 6 of this race. Feels like so much has happened. And actually, the closest together on the track right now are actually the battle for the lead with Hickman and Kamababo. In fact, I was just saying that indecisive is also right on the back of Kaya, for 13th place, as Wet Lemons comes into the pit lane to change his front wing now. So he came in on the first lap, and now he's back in again.
Kaya's
out the race. Now, what was this trigger? We've still got Hickman, and Hickman having to avoid Kaya's car there, and so is Kamababo having to come through. This is a chaotic race, and Kamababo's pitting. Kamababo pits. Now, is he gambling on a safety car, perhaps? We've not got one so far, but Kamababo in the pit lane, and is going to try and hope he comes out in some clean air, and he can put some quick laps in to get the undercut on Theo Hickman.
I think Kamababo has just realised that the race director just cannot be bothered with throwing safety cars. So
this is going to be close though. Is he going to get out ahead of the wheel nut? He kind of needs to, because it would help him massively, but no, it hasn't worked, and he's going to have to try and pass wheel nuts. And this would be fantastic for Hickman to pull away and to hopefully, for his sake, gain some time.
Yeah, I think if you're in Theo's position, you've just got to pit. You've just got to cover him, because Jacko is quite far behind. And I think even with a safety car, virtual safety cars, indecisive Mackie retires on the exit of the tunnel.
Exit of the tunnel.
Not quite sure how that has happened. Potentially contact, but it looked like he was on his own from the glimpse that I caught off the map. But still, a yellow flag will suffice, so we will continue to race here. But that means that Kamababo can't overtake through here. Don't think he had the run anyway, but Theo then, he should just pit.
He stayed out. He stayed out.
Theo
stayed out. Chris Johnson gets past Mr. John to 5th place then. Chris Johnson had a drive through and he's in 5th place right now. Kamababo, he can't get past Wheelnut. Oh, he would have so hoped he could have got past Wheelnut, because he would have been able to go so quick on the fresh tyres. But instead, he's being held up by the Mercedes, and it's costing him so much time.
We've had, what, like 6 crashes in this race, and we've just had one measly virtual safety car to compensate for that. But well, yeah, I mean, this is the closest battle on track at the moment. We have quite the field spread at this stage in the race. So Camobabo then, how quickly can he clear Wheelnut? Will he be able to clear Wheelnut before he decides to pit? This is all good for Theo though, assuming Wheelnut is lapping slower. So Theo then can easily make a pit stop and return ahead of Camobabo. Maybe he's waiting to see what Jacko can do, but I don't know if Jacko has enough time, even with the virtual safety car or safety car. I don't think Jacko has enough of a...
Here we go.
Camobabo
is going to go for a run here. Newville chicane. This is going to be tight, but it's his only real opportunity, and it's actually a really good move by Camobabo. And fair play to Wheelnut, who I think sort of played ball with that one because to avoid any significant contact.
Yeah, there was no point fighting that one. So let's see from the leader. Theo pits.
Theo's in.
So that makes Jacko now the leader on the track. I don't think...
Here comes Camobabo. Hickman's on the pit lane exit. I think Hickman has just done enough.
Yeah, he's got this.
Yes, he has. And it was that pit stop. It was being held up behind Wheelnut because look at that. What, 2.1 seconds the gap, and I think it's fair to say Camobabo lost more than 2 seconds stuck behind Wheelnut there.
Yeah, the overtake as well really cost him a lot of time, as Wheelnut does come into the pits just to rub salt into Camobabo's wounds. But yeah, it's going to be interesting now. Can Camobabo close the gap to Theo? The only drivers who have not made a pit stop as of yet are Jacko and Chris Johnson, who of course is on the mediums. So when Chris Johnson pits, you'd imagine he will drop to still only P6, despite starting 15th, running on the mediums and having a drive-through penalty. He's on course to still be a net P6, and he will be on the soft tyres. So, and we're not even halfway through this race.
I tell you what, I've just seen Hickman hit the wall there on the entry of the swimming pool. Now I'm just wondering if he's got a bit of end plate damage. I can't see any, but he did say it was a fair whack against the wall. And Camobabo gap's now 1.3 seconds, so he's got it down by what, 8/10 in that lap?
Yeah, Camobabo is flying out there, and M. Shep had retired. Okay, I was wondering if that was a connection issue, but Surrey Sports picks up our first track limits penalty of the race. So the only driver then who has not made any sort of pit stop is Chris Johnson. But yeah, as I said earlier, he'll be running in P6, so he will be hoping for some kind of safety car then. But
and he's actually just slowed down there to let the wheels through into fourth place.
I mean, yeah, he might as well. He's still, you know, he hasn't actually cost himself anything in terms of position by doing that. So
well, there's 10 laps to go. It's been an incredibly strange race, but don't go anywhere because it looks like we might be having a battle for the win here.
Wet Lemons has been lapped. How has that happened?
Yeah, Wellens has been lapped because he had to pit again, didn't he? He had to save his drive through, and then he had to pit again to change his front wing. So I think he had an incident, and he's way down the order, down in 12th place right now.
So the only thing that well, actually, there's nothing that can really save Wet Lemons. He just has to finish the race and hope people retire, because the race director does not allow lapped cars, any of the lapped cars, to unlap themselves at the end of a safety car. So unfortunately for Wet Lemons, he will be stuck where he is. And if a safety car were to be out now, he would he'd effectively, well, he'd be on a different lap to Red Bull Kim. But actually, speaking of Red Bull Kim, I think he is about to be lapped. I think he is the next car on the road. So
see, this is, you know, people call Monaco boredom, but this is where it's just so incredible to watch. So close to the walls, absolute precision, perfect precision is required. One mistake and it's game over, and Camobabo is gaining on Hickman, and Willie, I thought he was going to clip the wall there at Raskas, but he is clearly quicker than Theo Hickman right now, and he obviously gets to use DRS now down the straight, but these two are separated by less than a second with 8 laps to go here, and it is the closest battle on track. There's only 13 cars left in the race. It's been a very strange one, but look how close the top two are for the win.
Yeah, so hopefully then we will have a battle, and we have, I believe, that
stereogram.
stereograms. I don't know why. Okay, I think he may be back in the race because,
I don't know.
yeah. But anyway, the important thing is the battle out in front, and Theo, with the advantage of dirty air for the car behind, Kamababo is struggling in the corners. But Kamababo does look like he is the quicker driver, and I just want to check if stereogram is damaged. He does. He has no front wing, so that's why the yellow flags keep coming out. And Cena, actually, I believe, isn't actually in the race. I believe that is actually a ghost. Is it an AI?
Yeah, I think seeing a connection went, didn't it? But there you go, come through Raskas once again then. And again, it's 6/10 this time, so he has closed it down further on this lap, but ultimately you obviously get to a stage where it's literally impossible to cut it down any closer. And around Monaco, you just have to go for a bit of a gamble. Will he fancy a bit of a risky move like the one he managed to pull on Wheelnut earlier on? But maybe Hickman will not be as willing to let him through, because this is for the lead of the race. And actually, is he going to go for it? He could have gone for it there. I thought he was going to go for it there into Bidabo. He is so close behind right now. And Hickman, he won the first race in Bahrain, but since then it's been a difficult championship so far this season for the defending champion. He would love to win in Monaco, but Kamababo would love to make it 2 wins in a row tonight.
Well, I mean, it would be good for Theo's championship, of course, if he was first or second. But yeah, he would really want this win. And of course, Kamababo is quite close to Wet Lemons, or was quite close to Wet Lemons after Canada. So this would be brilliant for Kamababo and would take him into the lead of the championship. I suppose actually Theo kind of does need to win this race. But of course, track position around here, even if you have all the fresh tyres in the world, track position will reign supreme at Monte Carlo. So Kamababo then on the DRS straight, renowned for its overtaking, not quite able to make a move there, and he's 6/10 of a second back, but he loses it through this part of the lap here. Through this middle part of the lap is where it goes up to about 9/10 of a second. So Theo just needs to keep doing what he's doing as things stand, as Chris Johnson finally comes into the pits.
Yeah, he was getting caught a lot as well by Wheelnut, and he almost lost it, Chris Johnson, at the exit of the swimming pool. His tyres was completely gone, but he's going to have a fresh set of soft tyres on now, and I wonder if he can possibly go for the fastest lap, Chris Johnson. As we see, Kamababo and Hickman 7/10, and he just can't get enough close, just can't get close enough, can he? He needs to somehow try and force the other to make a mistake.
Yeah, that's all Kamababo really at this point can hope for. He just needs a mistake from Theo, and the mistakes have been coming thick and fast throughout this Monaco race and qualifying session. But Theo, he's kept it clean so far, and he doesn't seem to mind the pressure that Kamababo is putting him under, because whilst Kamababo has been close, he's never been close enough to actually mount any kind of move. But he's only 4/10 of a second back now, but we're not really heading into a heavy braking zone, so the dirty air is just going to affect him through this corner unless Theo gets a suboptimal line, and he kind of has, but I don't think Kamababa's close enough, and indeed he isn't.
Something that's also important to point out is that Hickman has 68% of his DRS remaining, and Kamababo has 40%, so Hickman will have that, of course, ready, stored up to use it for the defence if it is required. And he has more of it right now than what Kamababo does, as I don't think I'll fly through that stereogram again. I think because he has got a front wing, but just going a little bit slow through that corner. Kamababo, it's the closest I think he's been, certainly around to back on this lap, but he's actually had to back off there as he was going through the chicane.
Yeah, so Kamababo then, again, just, hoping every single lap, as there's a bit of debris there. I think that is from the Williams. I think stereogram, yeah, he's popped into the pits once again. But Kamababo then not close enough. He is a little bit closer than he was in the last lap. He does seem to have a lot of pace in turn 1 and also in the final few corners of the lap. But it's through here where Theo can just, park it and just actually extend the gap a little bit. So that's the problem with Monaco and these wide cars.
he's really good through Sandoval, isn't he, Camabavo? But it's just obviously so difficult to make a move on the run up to Massenet. I've tried it a couple of times in TGP, but it is incredibly risky. And considering Camabavo will take the lead of the championship in this race, even if he finishes second, I believe. Well, Lemon's in 10th place, but I'm pretty sure he would still take the lead of the championship combo just about. I don't think it's worth going for too much of a gamble. Because, I mean, obviously the absolute worst possible scenario right now for Camabavo would be a DNF and destroying this great opportunity he's had in this race.
Exactly, yeah. Like, whatever happens, these two just need to make sure they are 1 and 2, whichever order that may be. Because with Wet Lemons down in P10, and Wet Lemons has looked like the man to beat so far.
Oh, look how late on the brakes he is again into Sandoval. And again, look, he could have...
It's a better run.
He gets the run, doesn't he? But it's just not enough.
Yeah, they need to just, let's just re-profile the streets. Let's make that a big braking zone. And maybe Camababo can get through then. But as of right now, Camababo will have to stay behind for yet another, well, certainly another sector anyway. He doesn't seem to quite get the run that he needs out of Portier. He did get a better run there than Theo, it has to be said. But he is using a lot of deployment here. I don't think he's going to be close enough to mount any kind of challenge. He is late on the brakes, but it's not late enough. But he's just putting Theo under pressure, which I suppose is all you can really do when you don't have quite the advantage. And Theo actually got very, very close to the apex at to back there. But yeah, he just needs to keep it cool, and should be relatively drama-free.
Oh!
That's a big moment there, though. This could present Camababo with an opportunity. He's going to have to make him go around the outside. Now, the track does narrow here, but Theo will have a compromised exit there, and I think Camababo was slightly compromised as well. I think he took a little bit too much curb, and Theo has the run, has the momentum, and just keeps the position.
Oh, if it was for a championship last lap, Camababo would have went for that. But I think he was very, very cautious going into Zandvoort there and thought he could have possibly had a run and decided not to go for it because it was not worth the risk. But wow, lucky boy there, Theo Hickman. How close was that on the exit of Antinogues?
Yeah, I think what Camababo was trying to do there was just make Theo brake late and let himself get the swoop through the corner and get the momentum. But I think he either put the power down too early, or he took too much curb because he just didn't get the traction out of the corner. And I think had he got the traction, it certainly would have been a lot spicier heading into turn 3. But for now, we go again. Theo a bit deep through Raskas. I don't think he likes that Raskas corner, and seemingly doesn't like Anthony Nose either. But Camababo then is the furthest back he's been for quite a while. He's going to have to really attack it now if he's going to win. But honestly, at this point, whatever Camababo does, he has to make sure he's at least P2 at the end.
Yeah, exactly. That's the most important thing. He's a bit wide there through Massenet. What's happened?
Well, yeah, he's gone very wide through Massenet. He's hit the wall, and I would be
Did he
very
hit the wall?
He did, yeah, at least on my screen anyway. I would be very surprised if he did hit the wall. That's not some kind of damage.
I think Wet Lemon's pit there, didn't he? He's going to go for fastest lap. So Wet Lemon's trying to get another point. It's going to be really close, I think. If Camababo stays in second, but Wet Lemon's down in 10th. So who's going to be leading the championship at the end of tonight. But this race is not over for the win yet, and he's closing back in again. Is he going to go for a big attempt into Zandvoort on this final lap?
Yeah, for some reason the interval on my screen is actually frozen at 1.493 seconds. I thought it was actually Stereogram that was in front of him. I got a bit confused there, but this is very, very close right now. And Camababo then will have the DRS. Again, not the most effective zone on the calendar, but he's been very quick through Zandvoort, and I think Theo Hickman is just trying to avoid any kind of penalty. And I think Camababo can really just go for it, because if he gets a penalty, Jacko's not going to threaten him. And Camababo then with the run, he can't even attempt a different line. It's just too narrow through there. And Theo then maintains the position for yet another lap, and it's the final lap there as they go through the ghost of Stereogram. And Camo Babo then, he's only really, I'd say, got one more proper opportunity unless Theo makes some kind of mistake. But Theo's been fairly solid through here. But Camo Babo, he has got the run, he's got the slipstream. I don't think it's going to be enough though. Theo is running out of deployment. But he's got a better
just
exit
used it
through the
all,
new
used it all, and you've both got very, very low deployment now, obviously, for the final lap. And I think as long as Hickman does not make an error at this moment, he's going to take the victory.
Yeah, it does look like it. He's clean through here now. He just needs a clean final corner. And I have to say, this will be a brilliant win, withstanding all the pressure that Camo Babo threw at him. But it's Theo Hickman who wins in Monaco. 0.2 of a second clear of Camo Babo, who threw everything at him. But in the end, it was not to be for the Alpine driver, and he will be recognised as P2 in that race. Jacko then came under pressure a little bit at the end there from Blair Grills, just 1 second behind Jacko in P4. So Jacko then, I think he'll be fairly pleased with tonight. 2 podiums, second and a third. That's pretty handy stuff from the Alfa Romeo driver. Daniel P. Wheelnut, a pretty lonely P5, solid result nonetheless. Chris Johnson then, despite the drive-through, despite the P15 start, will come home in P6, gaining 9 positions. So I think Chris... Well, I mean, it didn't look like he had a great deal of pace anyway, though. So I suppose he probably can't be too disappointed with P6, or maybe he will be, given the amount of crashes and incidents that we had throughout that race. But Mr. John then, a very solid P7 for the Red Bull driver, and I hadn't actually realised the rest of the drivers had been classified because they were lapped. But well, that was quite the event. And Mr. John,
it was,
is the driver of the day according to Codemasters. If I were to add my own opinion in there, I'd probably give it to Theo Hickman, who is representing Earth. And a great day for the Earthlings. But yeah, brilliant drive. That's a statement from Theo to say, well, listen, I'm the reigning champion.
Well, we've got the championship standings in, and actually that fastest lap of Wet Lemons has proven to be very, very important, because he leads the championship by 1 point at the end of tonight. 100 points for Wet Lemons, Cannavaro on 99, and you've got Hickman on 73, Jacko on 66, so it's all closed up a little bit after tonight. And as championship contenders, Wet Lemons championship contenders will be delighted with how that's gone, certainly for him tonight, and just closes up the championship, doesn't it, going into next week?
Yeah, that's exactly what his rivals were hoping for. A bit of a scruffy race weekend for Wet Lemons there. Of course, Canada was still very solid with the podium, but yeah. Actually, was it a podium or was it P4 in the end that we're moving Camo Babo up? Probably.
I think he got third place, didn't he?
Yeah, was he third on the game, or was he third?
I think he was third overall. Oh yeah, he might have been fourth actually. Yeah.
Either way, it's still a solid result despite a dramatic race. So Wet Lemons there. I don't think he should be too much under pressure, but I think he just needs to kind of get back into his rhythm that we saw in races 2, 3 and 4. But quite a lot of retirements in that race. Of course, it is Monaco, and it's quite difficult to get your bearings around here. But yeah, we didn't have a lot of interruptions there. I
think we need to be thankful for Hickman and Cannavaro, because if it wasn't for them, that would have been quite a dull race, wouldn't it? But we had those two fighting for the lead all the way through, and yeah, but as you say, once we got so many retirements early on, cars really struggling, and it spread out the field massively. But thank goodness we had a big battle for the lead. Fantastic night overall, you have to say, though, for Camo Babo and for Jacko, and ultimately in the end for Theo Hickman, despite not doing too well in Canada.
Yeah. So once again, almost impossible to predict what's going to happen next. Not quite sure what's actually going on with the lobby. Just as a quick side note, I don't.
Yeah.
Are you still stuck on the results screen?
Yeah, there's some nice fireworks though.
Yeah, not quite the level of fireworks that we do see at the magnificent Yas Marina circuit. Of course, one of the classics on the calendar, ones that fans look forward to every year. And of course, we saw a great event in 2021, as we have now come to expect from the fantastic Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. But I suppose, now that we're not going back to the lobby and we've kind of taken you through the standings, I suppose I should probably do some kind of outro now. Not in the place that we usually do it, but yeah, as you can see, the drivers are beginning to leave because I think they're getting a bit fed up with what's going on with the results. So yeah, another enthralling night of racing as we come to expect from TGP2. And just as I start to do the outro, we are going back to the lobby, but sure, look, I'll continue anyway. Hopefully you will join us next week for
China and Azerbaijan.
Right, I would not have predicted that. But off to China, remember that? So China and Azerbaijan, and two very different circuits with two very long straights towards the end of the track. So should be quite an interesting night of racing ahead. So hopefully we will see you same time, same place next week.